At 7:12 on a Tuesday morning, you open your brokerage app before work. Then you stop. A deposit has just landed in your account. $14,212 a year. Not from your boss, not from a new job, not from working extra hours. And the strange part? That money is already working before you even open your laptop. For a moment, you stare at the number and think about the last 10 years. All those mornings you woke up early. All those hours you traded for a paycheck. All the raises that felt big for a few weeks. Before life quietly found a way to spend them. So the question is simple. What did those 10 years actually buy you? Because at 24, you were not thinking about this. You had $6,000 saved, and you were ready to use it to upgrade your car. Nothing crazy. Just a newer model, better seats, and a payment you could probably handle. Then you made one small decision. You put the $6,000 into a maxed-out Roth IRA instead. It did not feel exciting. There was no new car sitting outside your apartment. No one congratulated you. No one even knew. A few days later, your uncle sat at the kitchen table, counting cash with slow, calloused hands. His wallet was worn thin from years of use. He looked at your choice and said something you never forgot. Nobody claps for a balance that just sits there. He was right. The first years are quiet, almost painfully quiet. But money is a lot like planting a tree. At first, you see almost nothing. Then, slowly, the roots grow deeper. And one day, the tree starts producing more than you ever planted. That is when your life begins to change. Not because you suddenly become smarter, because your money finally starts doing the work you used to do alone. And if you enjoy stories that show how ordinary money decisions can quietly change your entire life, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because the next part of this story is where the real struggle begins. At 24, you are making $19 an hour. On paper, it sounds like a start. In real life, every dollar already has a job before it reaches your account. Rent takes $1,340. Then come groceries, the phone bill, gas, insurance. The small expenses that seem harmless on their own, but somehow gather together like water rising around your feet. You are not reckless with money. You are simply living on a floor that is already too low. Then one afternoon, you stop at a gas station with a coworker. You fill the tank. You tap your debit card. Declined. You try again. Declined. Your coworker is standing right there. You look at the screen, then at the pump, hoping the machine is wrong, but it isn't. There is not enough money in the account. And suddenly, the problem is not just the missing money, it is the feeling. The quiet embarrassment, the fear that someone else can now see how close to the edge you really are. This is where most people misunderstand wealth. They think building wealth begins when you have extra money. It doesn't. It begins when you understand that every dollar has two possible jobs. It can disappear into today, or it can be sent forward to help pay for your future. At $19 an hour, that choice feels almost impossible. You need the money now. The car needs gas now. The rent is due now. But this is exactly why the first decision matters so much. You are not trying to become rich overnight. You are trying to create a small gap between what comes in and what goes out. Then you protect that gap. You invest it, and you give it time. Because the first stage of wealth is not looking rich. It is surviving long enough for your money to finally start working beside you. At 11:03 on a Tuesday night, you sit on the edge of your bed with your phone in your hand. The apartment is quiet, your car is outside, your bills are still waiting, and you open the account. You look at the screen for a long time, then you set up an automatic investment of $200 every month. That is it. No music, no sudden feeling that your life has changed. You simply fill out the form, check the details, and press submit. For a moment, doubt shows up. What if you need this money next month? What if the car breaks down? What if your rent goes up? What if something happens and you need every dollar you can get? Those are not stupid questions. They are real questions. When you are living close to the edge, $200 does not feel small. It can feel like the money standing between you and a serious problem. But you also understand something important. If you wait until you feel completely safe, you may never start. There will always be another bill, another repair, another reason to delay. So you make the decision without making it dramatic. You do not promise to become a millionaire. You do not tell everyone about your plan. You simply decide that $200 will leave your account every month before you get the chance to spend it. That is the whole system, and this is where the real power begins. Because investing is not magic. It is more like pushing a heavy wheel. The first push feels useless. The wheel barely moves. But if you keep pushing, month after month, it starts moving faster. The $200 is not supposed to change your life today. It is supposed to give your future a chance to become different. And at 11:03 p.m., with no one watching, you make the first push. 2 years pass. Your automatic investment is still running. Every month, $200 leaves your account. You barely notice it anymore. The account has grown, but not enough to impress anyone. Then one morning, a coworker pulls into the parking lot in a brand new car. The paint shines. The seats are clean. The screen inside looks like a small television. You stand beside your older car, holding a coffee that has already gone cold. Your coworker looks at you and laughs. You're still driving that? You smile. Then they ask the question that makes your choice sound almost foolish. So, what are you doing with all that money? You do not explain the account. You do not explain automatic investing. You do not explain that you are buying something no one can see. Because the truth is, your coworker has something real. A new car, a better looking car, a car people notice. You have a growing balance on a screen, and screens do not turn heads in parking lots. Nobody claps for a balance that just sits there. They clap for the lease. This is one of the hardest parts of building wealth. The reward often comes later than the sacrifice. You give up something visible today for something powerful that may not be visible for years. It is like planting a tree while everyone else is buying flowers. The flowers look better right away. The tree looks like a stick in the ground. But the tree is building roots, and roots are the part no one sees. That is what your $200 is doing. It is not making you look rich. It is building something underneath your life. And for a while, it feels like nothing is happening. That is the test, because most people do not quit when the plan fails. They quit when the plan is working quietly, but the reward is still too small to see. You keep going, not because you feel confident every day, because you made the decision before the doubt arrived. Then, one morning it happens. You open the account and see a new line, dividend payment, $41. You stare at it. That is the number, $41. After 2 years of automatic transfers. After all the nights you stayed home instead of going out, after the meals you skipped, after the times you looked at something you wanted and decided to wait, after watching other people spend money on things you could not justify buying. $41. It is not life-changing money. It will not pay your rent. It will not buy a new car. It will not make you financially free. But something about it feels different, because for the first time, the money is coming from the money you already invested. You did not work an extra shift for it. You did not answer emails late at night. You did not ask your boss for a raise. You simply owned a small piece of something that produced income. This is the first proof. Not proof that you are rich. Proof that the system works. Think of it like a small crack in a wall. The wall still looks solid. But now you know it can be broken. That $41 is the first sign that your money can start creating more money. And this is where many people make a mistake. They see a small payout and say, that is nothing. But wealth is built from things that look small before they become large. A seed looks like almost nothing. A first step looks like almost nothing. A single brick looks like almost nothing. But the question is not whether one brick can build a house. The question is whether you keep laying bricks. So you leave the $41 alone. You let it stay invested. Because the goal is not to spend the first reward. The goal is to let the reward create another reward, then another. And slowly the balance that once looked boring begins to develop a pulse. Then the real test arrives. The market drops. Not a little. Your account falls by 20%. You open the app and watch thousands of dollars disappear from the number you had been building. Nothing is wrong with the account. The companies are still operating. The world has not ended, but the screen is red and your stomach feels tight. Then, a few weeks later, your car breaks down. The repair bill is bigger than you expected, or maybe a friend calls and asks to borrow money. You open the account, the money is right there, available, easy to reach. For a moment, you think about taking it, just this once. You tell yourself you will put it back later, but later is a dangerous word. Later can become next month, next year, never. You sit there with your finger close to the button, and the truth is, you are not suddenly filled with perfect confidence. You are not some financial expert who never feels fear. You simply remember something. You already told people you do not touch that money. You said it out loud, maybe to your friend, maybe to your family, maybe even to yourself. And now, you are too stubborn to break your own rule. That sounds simple, but sometimes stubbornness is useful, because investing is not only about knowing what to do, it is about making the right decision before your emotions become loud. A market drop feels like a fire alarm. Your brain wants to run. But a falling market is not automatically a loss. You only turn a temporary drop into a permanent loss when you sell at the wrong time. So you leave the money where it is. You handle the problem another way. You pay the repair. You help your friend if you can, but the account stays untouched. Not because you feel fearless, because you built a wall around your future before you needed one. By the time you turn 30, the difference is starting to show. Not in the way you expected. Your coworker from the parking lot still has the new car, but now the phone keeps buzzing. A collections company is calling. They let it ring. Then they check the message. $30,000 in credit card debt. The car still looks good from the outside, but the payments are heavy. The interest keeps growing, and every month, more of the paycheck disappears before it can be used. You do not feel like you have won. Your own numbers are not exciting. There is no giant account balance, no luxury car, no expensive watch, just a growing investment account, a few automatic deposits, some dividends, and years of leaving the money alone. But something is happening underneath the surface. Your money is beginning to earn money. Then that money is helping earn more money. This is compounding. And compounding is not dramatic at first. It is like a snowball rolling down a hill. In the beginning, the snowball is small. You push it more than it grows. But as it keeps rolling, it starts collecting more snow. Eventually, the snowball is doing more of the work. That is what your investments are slowly becoming. The important thing is that you did not need to be perfect. You did not need to predict every market move. You did not need to find the next big stock. You simply kept adding money and gave it time. At 30, you finally begin to see the gap. One person is working to pay for the past. The other is slowly building something that can pay for the future. And the strange part is this. From the outside, the person with the bigger car still looks richer. But wealth is not always what people can see. Sometimes it is the quiet number growing while everyone else is busy trying to look successful. Then, one ordinary month, the number finally crosses over. Your portfolio income becomes larger than your monthly job income. You check the spreadsheet twice, then a third time. The numbers are correct. Your investments are now producing more money each month than your job pays you. You wait for the feeling, the excitement, the moment when everything suddenly feels different. But nothing happens. There are no fireworks, no music. No one knocks on your door to congratulate you. You are still sitting in the same chair. The same bills are waiting. Your job is still there. The biggest moment of your financial life looks like a number inside a spreadsheet cell. That is the strange thing about wealth. The most important changes often happen quietly. A seed does not make a sound when it becomes a tree. A building does not announce the moment it becomes stronger than the foundation beneath it. And your money does not send you a message saying, "You made it." You try to tell a family member. You explain the numbers. You explain that your investments now produce more each month than your job. They listen. Then they say, "Oh, that's nice." A few seconds later, they change the subject. You smile, because you finally understand. Most people only understand money when it is visible. A new car, a big house, a luxury vacation. But your biggest financial victory does not look like any of those things. It looks like freedom slowly growing in the background. The money you once had to earn with your time is now being created by assets you bought years ago, and that is the real crossover point. Not the day you stop working, the day your money becomes strong enough to stand beside your work. From that moment on, your paycheck is no longer the only thing keeping your life moving forward, and nobody around you may even notice. Now return to that Tuesday morning. You are sitting at the kitchen table. The coffee is getting cold. Your brokerage app is open, and the number is still there. $14,212 a year. The money arrives quietly. No boss approves it. No client calls you. No alarm clock tells you when to wake up and earn it. You look at the screen and finally understand what the last decade really bought you. It did not buy freedom. It bought silence. The kind where nobody needs anything from you. The kind where a broken car does not instantly become a crisis. The kind where losing your job would be painful, but not the end of your life. That is what the money was building. Not a flashy life, a stronger position. So if you are still waiting for permission to begin, this is your reminder. You do not need to be rich to start. You need a number you can afford, and you need a system that keeps going when your motivation disappears. If you already started and your account still looks small, do not confuse quiet progress with no progress. The first years are supposed to feel slow. You are building the roots, and if you keep comparing yourself to the person leasing the new car, remember this. You are looking at the part of their life they chose to show you. You cannot see the payments. You cannot see the debt. You cannot see the stress behind the clean seats and shiny paint. So stop measuring your future against someone else's monthly payment. Your money does not need to impress anyone today. It needs to become useful tomorrow. You do not need a sign. You need a start date. And years from now, you may look back at one ordinary decision and realize it was the quietest decision that changed everything.